Okay, so today I'm gonna do a recording for a creation of an Active Directory lab. We are gonna configure the lab where it's gonna be there's gonna be a domain controller. We're gonna also create a client machine to join the domain and create configure users and remote desktop, both for administrative and non-administrative users. So that way we can create it, and it's all gonna be in the Azure platform, so it should be good. So we're first gonna create the resource group. We're gonna call this the AD for Active Directory project. Then we go next. We shouldn't be needing anything else from this section, so we're gonna wait on this to create. There we go, create it. Let's go home. We're gonna go to virtual networks, create a virtual network. We're gonna make sure that it's in the same resource group as AD project, and we're gonna call this ADVNet. Create that. Okay, create. Shouldn't take too long. Deployment is in progress, and yeah. Oh yeah, and by the way, I'm assuming if you're gonna be using Microsoft Azure, you already made an account and everything. So I'm not gonna show you the steps to doing that. You do get a free $200 to try it out and to learn Azure. So this is what I'm doing. I'm not paying yet for Azure. So now we're gonna create our virtual machine. We're gonna create the DC1, so we're gonna create the domain controller one. What's that? Okay, whatever. DC, we're gonna call it DC1 for domain controller. We're gonna keep it on East US. Everything else should be fine. For some reason, my Azure has been asking me to go to Zone 3 instead of Zone 1. I'm not sure what's costing that. We're going to go to Windows Server Data Center 2022 Windows Server Data Center in Azure. We're going to create a 2 vCPUs, 8 GB RAM. Should be fine. Don't worry too much about the price. You don't have to have. It's not gonna stay like that. It's gonna charge you cents in a dollar, so it doesn't really matter. So lab user here. We're gonna call our user lab user. We're gonna type cyber lab 123 exclamation point cyber lab 123 exclamation point. All right, everything looking good. We go next. Networking. We just want to make sure that it's in the ADVNet. Everything else, I think, is fine. Yeah. So review and create. All right, and we're just gonna let it create. All right, so that got deployed. So we're gonna go back to create. We're gonna look at the virtual machines from DC1. I'm gonna go ahead and step right ahead and do a step that I was asked to do for in order to keep this. Okay, so you want to make sure that DC1, which is going to be our domain controller or our system manager type of thing, is not fluid. Like you see that the private IP address is dynamic, so this means like if it got reset or something, the private IP address might change or might not. But you want to make sure that that doesn't happen because it could really break your system, your DNS stuff. So you're going to just go ahead and private IP address settings, set it to static private IP address, and just set it up. Okay, the changes confirmed. And now we go back to virtual machines. And now we're going to create the client or the client virtual machine. So client 1 virtual machine. We're gonna create it on sections on 3. We're gonna go for a Windows 10 Pro version 22H2, whatever. And we're gonna make sure that it's just 2 vCPUs, 8 gigabytes. And now let's create our lab user. Cyber lab 123 exclamation point. Cyber lab 123 exclamation point. Okay, make sure to click on that. Go next. And the networking, we want to make sure that we're still in the AD Active Directory VNet. So do not let it go into its own VNet. Make sure to go back and click the AD VNet. Let's also make sure that we're back in the same resource group. So make sure that you're in the same resource group. Make sure you're in the same network, because it's important. You want to make sure that everything matches. So next, review. Okay, create. Okay, so that got done. So we are gonna go into our virtual machines, and we're gonna start opening the remote connection. We're gonna start working with DC1's public IP address. Connect to that. We go like this. Connect. You can go to more choices. Use different. So lab user. User. Cyber lab 123. Did I write that right? I feel like I wrote it wrong. Cyber lab 123 exclamation point. All right, continue. Yep. And that should open it for us. So I'm just gonna let it load up for now, because it might take a little bit for you too. So see you in a second. All right, so we are in the virtual machine. In the DC1. So the main controller. It's gonna start loading up everything. Make sure that you're in the DC. The ways to know that you're in the DC is gonna be that it has a server manager. Also, in the bottom is just like one thing, the tab. And if you're like in the client one, it probably is gonna have like the store, the browser, and stuff like that. So it shows a lot more stuff for your regular user. But when it comes to the main controller or the DNS, it's very plain, to say like that. All right, so from here we're gonna go to the start controller. You right click that, you say run wf.msc. Okay, should open the Windows Defender firewall. We're gonna try to turn off. So I think it's in here. Private. Okay, so we turn off every single one of these. For the purpose of the lab, mostly, you probably don't want to do anything of this. Not this one, just this 3. So domain, private, and public profile. Apply and okay. Let's see. Okay, and with all that done, we can go back to the Azure portal, and from here we're gonna actually make sure that client 1 is connected through DNS directly to TC1. So to do that, we're gonna go to network settings from here for client 1, primary, yep, that one. In the left, you're gonna see the DNS server. It's usually right now inheriting whatever the virtual network is, but we're gonna customize it, and we're gonna go with, sorry, my bad. Make sure to have the private IP address in hand, so copy that, of the DC1. Private address from the DC1, go to client, go to network settings, that, DNS custom, paste that one there, and save it. Okay. Let it load. All right, perfect. Close that, close this. And now let's just real quick restart this virtual machine just to make sure that everything is gonna run perfectly. You never know, it might have to change in the background. So let's stop it from running and let's run it again. It should let us know when it's done. All right, so with that done, let's just do a little refresh. That should do it. All right, and we're gonna open another virtual machine. This one with the IP address, the public IP address of the client. Let's click that there. Oh. Paste, go. Same thing, more choices, lab user. What's the cyber lab? 1, 2, 3, exclamation mark. Yep, and that should open the other virtual machine for us today. There we go. It's opening it up. Okay, took quite a while for it to start. So okay, we take all of that stuff out because we really don't need it for this lab or whatever virtual machine. Okay. No, thank you. All right, and I just want to make sure that we're connected to the ping, so we're able to ping the other virtual machine. So let's go into PowerShell. That one. Okay. And maybe I can change the font real quick because it looks a little bit too small. Font. That should do it. Okay. So, and from here, what's this? Nope. So we're gonna ping the private IP address of the DC1 server. So it's not that. The ping. I think it's 10.0.0.4, and it should ping. Yep, it's pinging. If it doesn't, and if it shows like an error or like a timeout, it's either because, so let me try doing a mistake ping 0099, whatever. It's gonna show this. It's gonna show that it's unreachable and stuff like that. What this means, it's either because it's on a wrong virtual network, which is really bad. So you might want to have to erase this whole client 1 and try to make sure that it's connected to the same virtual network that the DC1 is connected to. Or DC1's firewall is still up, and it's probably canceling all the traffic, or at least ping. So make sure to always recheck on the 2 possibilities if that's the case. But okay, I just want to make sure that we are connected to the correct DNS. It should be ipconfig/all. It should show you the DNS. Is it not gonna do it for me? What the hell? Oh, I might have written it wrong. IP. Oh yeah, I did write it wrong. Config/all. There you go. And that should show you the DNS server is the same IP address, private IP address that the DC1 has. All right, so that is a good step. Now, okay, now from here, we're gonna just make sure everything else is happening. So we're gonna install the Active Directory in the DC1. So now I'm gonna just get out of here and go to the next DC1. We're gonna do server manager. I don't know if you've closed it or not, so make sure to have it. You can look for it. Server manager. So you go to add roles. Next. DC1 should be the only one over here. So next to that, and we are gonna make sure that we are installing active domain services. So click on that, add features. All right, so make sure that it's that one. Next. Restart the destination server automatically if required. Okay, let's do that just to be safe. Sure, install, and we'll let it just run its course. That could take quite a bit, so I'll see you in a minute. All right, with that installed, we're just now, okay, that should, can close that. All right, you're gonna see this little flag coming up after the installation. This is post deployment and configuration. You're gonna promote the server to domain controller, which is, and we're gonna add a new forest. You can pretty much name anything here, but I'm gonna just name it the domain.com. So next. Okay. Password type. You're probably not gonna use this for this occasion or this lab. Maybe you might not want to do what I'm about to do. I'm just gonna name this password 1. I'm just gonna let it for a second to do whatever it's doing because it's not letting me type anything as of right now. Okay, so after checking a few times, I realized that my D domain is not really working, so I just put it on my domain.com. It's whatever everybody uses, basically that. So what's going on here? Can I retrieve the NS? Whatever. So as I was saying, password 1. Password 1. That should lead us to do that. Uncheck that. And next. Next. Oh, the prerequisites. Let it download, let it do its thing. And then we're gonna click install and it should be good to go. So I'm just gonna let it install, do its thing. Okay, so now that it's installed, it's probably gonna start restarting and closing my system. So close that. It's probably gonna close soon. So that basically created the domain. All right, so yeah, it's ended. Cool. So now we're gonna try to connect back to it, but this time around we're gonna try to connect as the lab user. So let's try it. Okay, so we're gonna copy real quick the public IP. Let's make sure it is the one. Connect. Show more options. No, wait. Hide those options. Okay. So we're gonna go into this. We're gonna write the domain, which is my case. Which one was it? My domain. I remember just now. Domain.com. And we do the slash lab user. And we do cyber lab 1, 2, 3 exclamation point. That should do it, and we go okay. And at this point, you would not be able to use lab user without the my domain thing, since this has been created. This is like the server already. So okay, so from here, now we're gonna create essentially like folders for users. So I'm gonna just create an organizational unit. We're gonna create 2 of them. We're gonna create one that is just called employees and the other one called admins. I'm also gonna create a employee name, in this case Jane Doe, as an administrator, so that way we can start working through that. So to create that, we go to Start, we go to Administrative Tools, Windows Administrative Tools, and we make sure we go for Active Directory Users and Computers. Okay, and we go to My Domain. And from here, we are gonna click on My Domain, right click on My Domain. We're gonna go to New, and we're gonna go Organizational Units. And this is where the name comes from. We're gonna do employees. So paste. Make sure to write it like that. So it's underscore employees. Don't mess it up, and then we're gonna create. Because if we do mess it up, it's gonna mess up for the rest of the project. So, and then we're gonna do underscore admins. Same thing. Don't mess it up. So, okay, and so from here we're gonna go into the admin folder. We're gonna right click on that, and we're gonna create a new user. We're gonna call her Jane Doe. And we're gonna make it Jane underscore admin. Oop, admin. All right, next. Did I write that right? Admin, yeah. Don't let her change anything. So we're gonna say CyberLab 123 exclamation point. CyberLab 123 exclamation point. Go next. Oh, what? I don't know how to write passwords, I guess. Lab 123 exclamation point. Okay, so I had a little hiccup. I had somebody come in into my house to do a little service to my water dispenser. Anyways, we were doing Cyber Lab 123 exclamation point. They both should match now. All right, that makes Jane Doe. Even though Jane Doe it has like it's in the admins folder and it's like an admin login and stuff like that, she's still not a admin. So what we're gonna do is create it in properties. We're gonna go for member of, and we're gonna add her to domain admins. You should be able to find it. Check names, domain admins, okay. And then apply. Okay. And then she's an admin now. Okay. Now we should be good to close this. And actually, we're going to leave DC1. We're going to close it straight up. And we're going to go back. Let's refresh it real quick. We are going to now be using Jane. We're going to be using Jane in order to be in the admin folder. So we said she is my domain. Jane underscore admin. Oh, it's mydomain.com, geo. All right. And then we go CyberLab 123 exclamation point, and that should let us go in. Yep. And we're logging in from here on out with Jane. And now we're going to join the clients. So let's just let it load for a second, and I'm just going to skip this part real quick. Okay, we're in. And this should show that I'm Jane Doe. There we go. Great. Now let's go back to client, to the client one, to the actual end user. And this is where we were doing the IP config and checking that we were connected to DNS 10.0.0.4, which is the DC1 private IP address. Now from here on out, we're going to go to system. And we should be changing or connecting the domain to DC1. So, which one is it? Okay, sorry. So it's rename address. Not here, not here, not there. Pretty sure it's here. Nope. Sorry. There we go. Domain. And we're gonna name it my domain. Domain. Oh. Domain.com, and it should find it. And it's gonna ask me the admin user, which is gonna be Jane. But let's just try something real quick, because let's say you're not in the same network or something. It found it because we are in the same virtual network. But if let's say we do DDR, whatever, it's not gonna find it because it doesn't really exist for it, and it's just cannot be contacted. So if all of this fails and you find yourself here, you should go back through the steps that I did and make sure that you're following everything, because if not, this is gonna pop up. So now let's go back. My DDR, mydomain.com, and let's do mydomain.com Jane _ admin and cyberlab 123. And since Jane is an admin, she can accept the domain changes and stuff like that. So it should give us a welcome to the domain. So there we go. Now we're part of the domain. And to make, oh yeah, and the computer might need to be restarted. So to make everything have effect, let's restart it now. Let that restart. It's probably gonna close it anyways. So now let's go back to our DC1. This is our DC1, and you want to make sure that it's here now, that client 1 is part of the DC1. You're going to go to Windows Administrative Tools. From here, you're going to go to Active Directory Users and Computers. Click the My Domain. You should be able to find it in the computers container. And there it is. All right. So now we are going to create another organizational unit, and we are gonna call this one underscore clients. Sorry, make sure everything is clients. Okay, and you're gonna open this and drag client 1 to clients, and you're gonna say yes, and there it is. Okay, we're gonna reload this so that way we can see everything here. Okay, and now, okay, so now from here, let's go to PowerShell. We are in the DC1 computer, so we're gonna run it as an administrator. Yep. And we are gonna do a script here that is gonna help us create. Usually it would say to create 1,000 users, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna, 10,000 users, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna create 1,000 users. So new script, let's paste that, and I'm just gonna change it to 1,000. And I can title this too. So let me see if I can rename this real quick, or it should be fine. This script basically is just creating random users with the same password. So it's all the users are gonna have password 1, and it's just creating 1,000 users randomly. It doesn't really care, and it's adding them all into the employee file right here. So we should be able to run this and start. As you can see, it's creating all the users, and we can go to the files, and we go to the employees, and you start seeing all these users, and all of these users have access to client 1. From what I can see, we're creating a lot of users. And as I said earlier, this script originally makes 10,000, so it's a lot. So I think we're good enough to just stop it right now. And then, okay, I had to stop the recording because my my partner arrived and I had to do other stuff. All right, so from here, we already did the script. We got a bunch of users in the employee file. All right, that's all good. Okay, so now what we need to do is back to client one. Although we have a bunch of users here and they are part of the domain and client one per se as well, they don't have access. We need to add Jane. We need to go through the other remote and go through with it with Jane, so that way we can add them. So let's go more choices, my domain /forward Jane _admin cyberlab 123 exclamation point cyberlab 123 exclamation point. Okay, yep. Okay, and this is gonna be unlocking the computer. Okay, we're in here. Now we go into system. So in the previous one with the lab user, we added the domain. So now we're gonna go just to remote desktop, users and accounts, select the user that can use remotely this PC. And here is where we're gonna add the users. So now we go ahead and add domain users. In some cases, you would want to choose which kind of user or admin has access to the computer, so that way you can differentiate. But today we're gonna just do every single domain user that we have. Okay, that should do it. Let me just check one more time that it does it. System remote users. Okay, that should do it. Let's close it back again. Let's open it again. But this time let's go back to the other one and let's choose one of them. I'm gonna choose BOHQOJ, whoever that is. But it's our user. And we're gonna go to more options. My domain.com /BOH whatever. And the script password says password is gonna be the password for all our users. So password 1, and you click OK. Yep. And that should do it. All right. And we're logging into the remote desktop computer. There you go. Now we are in our domain. We have our own little account. And if you want to go ahead and see how it looks, let's run CMD or command prompt. And it should show you BOHQOJ. So, yep. Alrighty, you guys. This is it. Thank you for watching my tutorial. Hopefully it was insightful enough, and I will see you in the next one.